Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is AES and welcome to my YouTube channel. Even though it was not advertised properly, I was interested in the footage that I saw from Necromunda Hired Gun. It looked like an interesting mixture of Doom's gameplay with John Wick's constant barrage of action set pieces. It seems like a match made in heaven, leaving me without a choice but to pre-order the title through PlayStation's online store. However, it is the lack of advertisements that I should have perceived as a red flag. It may be due to my unawareness of the title's lore, but the game unquestionably did not live up to my expectations and could very well be one of two instances of buyer's remorse this year. What are my thoughts on today's game? Time to find out. Without further ado, let us review Necromunda Hired Gun, which was released this year and for the purpose of transparency, was played on the PlayStation 5. Story. You know the story of a game is not at the forefront when you check out the title's presence on Wikipedia and you only have a single line about its tale. Regardless of what you think about the narrative, there's one piece of information that is vital for your understanding of the events that take place in Necromunda Hired Gun. It takes place in the same universe as Warhammer 40,000. I did not know about it prior to playing the game, and as a result, here is my take on the game's storyline. A dude is, by the title of the video game, hired gun for various factions. One day, the base of operations is placed in danger, and you are tasked with taking down the enemy that attacked the area where you applied for work as a mercenary. That's it. Unfortunately, this generic description of the plot led me to a situation where I could not care less about the lore, the characters, or the storyline. The game does not succeed with regards to creating likable individuals or giving you a reason to be attached to what is happening around you. I highly recommend that you familiarize yourself with the Warhammer 40,000 lore prior to checking out Necromunda Hired Gun in order to avoid my predicament where I cannot recommend the story in the game by any stretch of the imagination. Visuals and audio design. I will be making several comparisons between Necromunda Hired Gun and other first-person shooters throughout this review because, if we keep it a buck, Necromunda clearly takes inspiration from two specific franchises, Wolfenstein and Doom. Since we're talking about the title's presentation, let's compare this game with Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Visually, Wolfenstein has a nice variety of environments, great lighting, and good character design. Necromunda is the opposite of it, with the exception of the lighting, including fire effects, which are semi-decent. The environments, weapon models, and enemy designs are as generic as they come. The audio design pays tribute to the Doom franchise, which in this case is a good thing. The metal tunes you play in various battles and the impact of the weapons are great. You will realize the following piece of contention sooner rather than later, but the constant comparisons between Necromunda Hired Gun and the other two IPs is the major problem with the game as a whole. It does not do anything to stand out on its own 2 feet. I won't go off on a rant here. You'll find out as we continue to talk about the game. As far as the overall presentation is concerned, it is generally mundane, even though the sound design has its high moments. Gameplay. Due to the employment of the protagonist as a hired gun, you can guess what the gameplay will primarily be. You accept a quest, enter a linear level, shoot enemies, return to your hub, and repeat. That's the gist of it, but let's dissect the two major scenarios during your time with Necromunda Hired Gun. Before and after each mission, you will enter an underground city, which will allow you to choose the missions that you will undertake. There are the main missions, but there are also side missions. Regardless of the chosen difficulty, which can be either very easy or very hard, both of which net you money and resources that can be spent on improving your character, your weapons, and a dog. Your puppy will accompany you and attack foes on your behalf, even if your own actions deal more damage than your best friend. The other component during your playthrough is, well, the combat. You will run around, involve yourself in chaotic gunplay bouts, execute the occasional enemy, and move on to the next area to repeat the process. Reminds you of a certain title, huh? I'll give Necromunda some credit. Unlike the aforementioned two franchises, this game allows you to use a hook to reach high places or move faster through the environment. It does not always work as there are some detection issues when you try to aim at a certain spot and your rope just bounces back. Necromunda Hired Gun's gameplay is serviceable, but you won't fondly recall on it in a week, a month, or a year after you beat the game. Fun factor. Sadly, I must report that throughout my playthrough, I may have only had a few moments where I experienced any sort of fun. There are two reasons for it. On one hand, I did not care about the story or the characters at all. I was able to pick up the gist of the plot after the second half, but by then any chance of a connection between myself and the protagonist or NPCs was long gone. On the other hand, the gameplay was simply not engaging and lacked any satisfaction from the kills. Doom Eternal was just as fast and even more hectic, yet it managed to maintain my investment in it due to the variety of unique weapons and abilities with said firearms. The first mission or two may have shown some promise for something greater, but my hype instantly deflated as soon as Necromunda Hired Gun became a chore, which was very early on. Impressions of PlayStation trophies. There are 3 types of trophies on your way to the illustrious Platinum Trophy. First, you have the story-based objectives, which you will earn automatically upon the completion of each chapter. Secondly, you have an onslaught of miscellaneous tasks that are easy to execute. They may ask you to kill 100 enemies by using your augmented powers, or pet your dog, among many others. The third category falls under the ability to earn a certain ranking or score within each mission. In the case of Necromunda Hired Gun, you must earn mostly an A ranking in all of the chapters, as well as an S ranking for one of the assignments. Every challenge is easily defined, and you know exactly what you need to do. If you can handle the more difficult sections of Necromunda Hired Gun's campaign, you'll be A-OK with your pursuit for the Platinum Trophy. When should you pick it up? Recommending a game with trailers that fail to inform the players of the prerequisite to be familiar with the lore of Warhammer is tricky. If you're invested in the world building and characters of the IP, then you may get out more of Necromunda Hired Gun than yours truly. Otherwise, I would wait for a deep sale of around $10. Assuming you don't resort to checking out better options, such as Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus and Doom 2016, both of which are more enjoyable and tell a more coherent narrative. In the end, Necromunda Hired Gun is a very disappointing title that falls short when compared to the games it mimics and the John Wick-based opportunity that it had on its hand. The story is nonsensical if you're not well versed in the Warhammer lore, which, in my opinion, is a prerequisite for giving this game a try. The gameplay is serviceable, but does not do anything extraordinary or original. The presentation is questionable. The endgame content can either be extremely easy or ridiculously hard. Bound Wonderworld still holds the spot for my buyer's remorse pick of 2021, but Necromunda Hired Gun takes the top spot as my most disappointing game of this year. It is not awful, it's just far from being the fun experience that was advertised in the trailers. I will give Necromunda Hired Gun from 2021 a 6 out of 10. Well folks, that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for checking it out. What are your thoughts on Necromunda Hired Gun? Have you played it? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Till next time, have a great day or evening wherever you are. My name is AES, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.